Welcome to the Quantum Chain Podcast, where we explore the fascinating world of blockchain.
Yeah.
Blockchain is often associated with Bitcoin.
Right.
But get ready to have your mind blown today, because we're going on a deep dive into the surprising range of blockchain applications that go way beyond cryptocurrency.
Definitely. It's really interesting how blockchain's core features, transparency, security, and immutability make it incredibly versatile. It's kind of like a digital Swiss Army knife.
I like that, a digital Swiss Army knife.
Yeah.
Okay, so to help us unpack all of this, we've got a stack of sources here, articles from The Motley Fool, a deep dive on Wikipedia, and even some info about IBM's Food Trust.
Interesting.
We're going to uncover how this tech has the potential to touch practically every corner of our lives.
Yeah, it's a bit like the early days of the internet.
Mm-hmm.
We knew it was going to be big, but we could only imagine the possibilities.
Right.
And now we're starting to see the real-world impact, and it's pretty amazing.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's start with something we can all relate to, money.
Okay.
The Motley Fool article highlights how blockchain can make money transfers, especially those across borders, faster and cheaper. Remember the days of waiting weeks for an international transfer to go through?
Oh, yeah. So frustrating.
Ugh, it's the worst, right?
It is.
But with blockchain, those agonizing waits could become a thing of the past.
Yeah. And it's not just about speed and cost. Decentralized crypto exchanges are emerging, which, give users more control over their assets and potentially offer greater security than traditional exchanges.
Okay. Decentralized exchanges. Now, I'll admit, that's a new one for me.
Yeah.
Can you break that down a bit?
Sure. Think of it this way. Traditional exchanges act as middlemen, facilitating trades and holding your funds, right?
Yeah.
Decentralized exchanges, on the other hand, operate on a blockchain network, meaning transactions occur directly between users without a central authority. And this eliminates counterparty risk and increases transparency.
So less reliance on a middleman, more control for the user.
Right.
Got it. Okay. Next up, smart contracts.
Ooh, yeah.
This is where things start to feel futuristic. Wikipedia gave a pretty in-depth explanation of how these contracts basically run themselves.
Exactly. It's all about automating agreements.
Yeah.
Let's say you're taking out a loan.
Yeah.
A smart contract can automatically release the funds once certain conditions are met, like verifying your income or collateral.
Right.
It cuts out the middleman, speeds up processing, and could even lead to better interest rates.
And it's not just about loans, right?
Yeah.
The article mentioned insurance, too. Could you give an example of how a smart contract would work for, say, a car insurance claim?
Absolutely. Imagine you get into a fender bender with a smart contract. The details of the accident, like the time, location, and damage, could be automatically recorded on the blockchain. And if the conditions of your policy are met, like, say, a police report is filed. Right.
The smart contract could trigger an instant payout without the need for lengthy back and forth with the insurance company.
Wow. That would definitely streamline the process. No more mountains of paperwork or endless phone calls.
Right.
Okay. So we've covered how blockchain can potentially revolutionize money transfers and contracts, but what about something as massive and complex as the real estate industry?
Well, real estate transactions are notoriously slow and paper-heavy, but what if we could streamline the entire process using blockchain?
Okay.
Imagine a secure public ledger that records every property transaction, eliminating the need for endless paperwork and reducing the risk of fraud.
So instead of relying on multiple parties like lawyers, banks, and title companies to verify and process a transaction, we could have a single source of truth on the blockchain.
Precisely. It could be a game changer for the entire industry, leading to faster transactions, lower costs, and increased transparency for both buyers and sellers. It really sounds like it.
But before we get too far ahead of ourselves, let's shift gears and talk about something a little more creative. Artist royalties.
Okay. I'm intrigued. This is something I hadn't really considered before.
Yeah.
How can blockchain help artists get paid fairly for their work?
So think about how music and film are distributed online. It's a complex web of platforms, intermediaries, and often a lack of transparency.
Right.
Blockchain can help track the distribution of digital content, ensuring that artists are properly compensated for their work and reducing the potential for piracy.
So instead of relying on complicated royalty systems and third-party distributors,
Right.
blockchain could provide a direct link between the artist and the consumer.
Exactly. It's all about cutting out the middleman and giving creators more control over their intellectual property.
Gotcha.
Imagine a system where every time a song is streamed or a movie is downloaded, the artist receives a micropayment automatically via a smart contract.
Wow, that would be revolutionary.
Right.
It would level the playing field for independent artists and ensure they're not losing out on revenue.
Exactly. And this technology isn't just limited to music and film, you know?
Oh, okay.
It can be applied to any form of digital content, from ebooks and photography
Oh, wow.
to online courses and software.
So we've covered how blockchain can improve financial transactions, automate contracts, streamline real estate, and empower artists.
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing how this technology can be applied to such diverse industries.
I know, it's really cool.
But what about something that affects everyone on a daily basis? Food safety.
Ah, yes. This is where IBM's Food Trust comes into play.
Okay.
They've created a blockchain network that tracks food products from farm to table, recording every step of the journey on an immutable ledger.
Okay. I'm picturing like a digital trail that follows my food from the field to my grocery cart.
Yeah.
But how does that actually improve food safety?
Well, imagine there's an outbreak of E. coli linked to a particular batch of lettuce. With a traditional system, it could take weeks or even months to trace the source of the contamination.
Right.
But with a blockchain, investigators could instantly identify the farm, supplier, and distributor involved, potentially saving lives and preventing wider outbreaks.
That's a powerful example of how blockchain can improve public health.
Definitely.
It's amazing to think that a technology initially designed for digital currency could have such a profound impact on something as essential as food.
Yeah.
But it's not just about food, right? There are applications for other types of supply chains too.
Absolutely. The principles of transparency, traceability, and security that blockchain brings to food safety can be applied to any industry with a complex supply chain.
Right.
Think about pharmaceuticals, where counterfeit drugs are a major problem. The fashion industry, where ethical sourcing is becoming increasingly important. Blockchain can provide a much-needed layer of trust and accountability.
Okay. We've covered a lot of ground already, but we're just getting started. Stick with us as we continue to explore the fascinating world of blockchain applications right here on the Quantum Chain Podcast.
Time is precious, so let's make this moment last. Let's keep 'em guessing, 'cause our next move's coming fast. When life is what you've been dreaming, you gotta eat, sleep, and breathe it. That's the only way you can keep it. And where we're heading, it's gonna make more than a splash. We're taking over the world. Gotta stop us even if you try. We're taking over the world. Yeah, the only limit is the sky. We're taking over the world. On our way now, and we're only looking ahead. We're breaking hard ground, and in no sight is the end. When life is what you've been dreaming, you gotta eat, sleep, and breathe it. That's the only way you can keep it. We're on our way now, and we're taking all our friends. We're taking over the world. Gotta stop us even if you try. We're taking over the world. Yeah, the only limit is the sky. We're taking over the world. We're taking over the world. We're taking
welcome back to the Quantum Chain podcast, where we're, diving deep into these blockchain applications.
Right. Before the break, we were talking about how blockchain can revolutionize supply chains beyond just food.
Yes, exactly.
We talked about how blockchain can create a digital trail for food, but how would that work for something like, say, a smartphone?
Well, imagine being able to trace every component of your smartphone from the raw materials, mined in Africa, to the factory where it was assembled all the way to your hands.
Wow.
That's the kind of transparency blockchain can offer.
Okay, I see the benefits for consumers, but how does this impact the companies involved in the supply chain?
It's all about efficiency and trust, right?
Okay.
So with a blockchain-based system, everyone in the supply chain has access to the same information in real time. No more relying on outdated spreadsheets or emails.
Yeah.
You can track shipments, manage inventory, and even verify the authenticity of goods with just a few clicks.
So it's not just about tracking products, it's about streamlining communication and collaboration between different companies.
Exactly. Blockchain eliminates the need for intermediaries, reduces paperwork, and minimizes the potential for errors and disputes.
Okay.
Creates a more efficient and trustworthy ecosystem for everyone involved.
That makes a lot of sense.
Is that?
And speaking of trust, let's shift gears to a topic that's becoming increasingly important, the Internet of Things.
Right.
Or IoT. We're surrounded by smart devices these days.
Yeah.
But how can we be sure they're secure?
That's a critical question because as we connect more and more devices to the internet, we also increase the potential for cyber attacks.
Right.
A lot of these devices collect sensitive data about our lives from our location to our health information.
Right. I mean, the thought of my smart refrigerator getting hacked is a little unsettling.
Yeah, for sure.
So how does blockchain come into play here?
Well, with traditional IoT networks, data is often stored centrally,
right,
which makes it a prime target for hackers.
Okay.
But with blockchain, you can decentralize data storage, making it much more difficult to compromise the entire system. It's like having multiple backups of your data spread across a network, so even if one node is compromised, the others remain secure.
So it's kind of like a digital fortress protecting our devices and data.
Exactly. And because blockchain is immutable, once data is recorded, it can't be altered or deleted without everyone on the network knowing.
Right.
This makes it incredibly difficult for hackers to tamper with sensitive information or create false records.
Okay, that makes me feel a lot better about all the smart devices in my home.
Yeah.
But all this talk about data security brings up another question. What about data storage in general? We're generating massive amounts of data every day. Can blockchain handle that kind of volume?
It's a valid question, and the answer is a resounding yes.
Okay.
Blockchain's decentralized nature makes it ideal for large-scale data storage. Instead of relying on a single company or server, your data is distributed across a network of nodes, making it much more resilient to outages or attacks.
So it's like having a safety net for your data.
Yeah.
No more worrying about losing everything if a single server crashes.
Exactly. And because blockchain is tamper-proof, you can be confident that your data is secure and hasn't been altered. Plus, blockchain could potentially reduce data storage costs in some cases.
Really?
Because you're eliminating the need for expensive centralized servers.
Okay, so we've seen how blockchain can streamline supply chains, secure IoT networks, and revolutionize data storage.
Right.
It's clear that this technology has the potential to impact pretty much every aspect of our lives.
Definitely, yeah.
But you mentioned earlier that we're still in the early stages of exploring its potential, right?
Absolutely. We're just scratching the surface of what's possible with blockchain.
Wow.
As the technology matures and more applications emerge, we can expect to see even more transformative changes in the years to come. But for now, it's important to remember that blockchain is a tool. And like any tool, it can be used for good or for ill.
That's a really important point. Just because a technology is powerful doesn't mean it's inherently good or bad.
Exactly.
It's all about how we choose to use it.
Right.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into blockchain applications, I think the big question on everyone's mind is, what does the future hold for this technology?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah.
There are so many promising areas where blockchain could make a real difference.
Right.
Healthcare, government, education, the possibilities are endless.
It really does seem like it.
But if I had to choose one area that I think will see the most transformative impact in the next 5 years.
You were about to tell us which area you think will see the most transformative impact from blockchain in the next 5 years.
Oh, right. Well, if I had to pick just one, I'd say it's going to be in areas where trust and transparency are absolutely paramount.
Okay.
Think about things like voting systems, supply chains for essential goods like medicine,
right,
or even personal identity management.
Those are some pretty big areas. Secure and transparent elections.
Exactly.
Tamper-proof medical records. A more secure way to manage our digital identities.
Yeah.
It sounds like blockchain could really empower individuals and help build a more equitable society.
Exactly. It's about shifting power away from large centralized institutions and putting more control back in the hands of individuals. But, and this is crucial, it's not just about the technology itself. It's about how we choose to use it.
That's such an important point.
Yeah.
Technology is a tool, and like any tool, it can be used for good or for bad.
Yeah.
It's up to us to ensure that blockchain is developed and implemented responsibly and ethically.
I completely agree. We need to be having open and honest conversations about, both the potential benefits and the risks of blockchain technology.
Yeah.
And we need to make sure everyone has a seat at the table when making decisions about how this technology is used.
Well said. It feels like we've been on an incredible journey with this deep dive. We've explored the fascinating world of blockchain applications, from financial transactions and food safety to supply chain management and securing the Internet of Things.
And honestly, we've only just scratched the surface. Blockchain technology is constantly evolving with new possibilities emerging every day.
It's definitely clear that blockchain is more than just hype. It's a powerful tool with the potential to revolutionize our world in profound ways.
Absolutely. So as we wrap up this deep dive on the Quantum Chain podcast, we'll leave you with this thought-provoking question. What do you think the most transformative blockchain application will be in the next 5 years? Share your thoughts with us on social media.
Yes.
And let's keep this conversation going.
Thanks for joining us on the Quantum Chain podcast. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
Desire, no one can take your goal.